Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Nice day, beautiful day. Wow.
Yeah, well, I don't know, I was at work.
Don't you drive from like to different buildings?
Yeah, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm always hot, so
Do you have any properties in the valley? Oh,
no.
yeah. Yeah. Someone was there today. They said it was such a difference between the valley and the city. It was
Well, there's
10
always
degrees
like 10
higher.
degrees at least.
Yeah. You could definitely feel it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm. Mm, mm, mm. I think it was CVS, and I don't know what, oh, we're looking for uh, toothpaste,
yeah.
and I saw a container. I said, what is this? And I saw your photo, so it was a
Oh,
TheraBreath, but it changed. It was a white container.
really?
Yeah,
They have one with two bottles together. Was that it?
I don't think so.
Oh, I have to, at CVS?
Yeah,
Yeah, which CVS? I have to check.
on La Brea and Third.
Oh, it was a white container.
Yeah.
There's a few new mouthwashes coming out. Maybe it's one of the new ones.
Oh, because it said TheraBreath.
Uh-huh.
So I looked at it, and your a very small picture of
Yeah,
you.
like Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
I tell them it's my bar mitzvah picture.
I was thinking we should have had a Assume.
There's one tomorrow night. The rabbi's doing in his house tomorrow night.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and they're gonna have I think from Yossi's.
oh, I didn't know that. Where did they announce it?
It's on the chat. There's a chat. The YAHP Torah and more. Are you on
Oh,
that?
I'm not on it. No,
I'll tell the rabbi to put you on it.
it's okay. I mean, I actually am going to Assume tomorrow night, but
Uh,
I was thinking we could have done Assume ourselves.
could have.
Coulda, woulda.
I just wonder if you can do it like you can do it by Zoom, like now. We finish the
Oh,
Masechta. One of us has to say the Adrian, if that's
yeah.
fine. We need 10, obviously, I guess, for the Adrian. And then we can eat our own Suda. It doesn't have to be together.
Ah,
That's a good
COVID,
silent. That
COVID days.
then tape it and then play it every day.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure Tzvika will have a share about it.
So, talk about speaker. Listen to this. My grandson is learning, is doing a SEOM.
Oh,
He's
okay.
only 12, but
Oh,
he's
nice.
finishing Marcos or whatever.
Wow.
Anyhow, so he's going to do a SEOM tomorrow. So Hillel asks Rabbi Krause if he can do it. Rabbi Krause
Yeah.
told him, ask Tzvika.
That's what he said?
Yeah, ask Svika. So he asks Svika, and he said,
Yeah.
"Of course he can do it.
Yeah.
Of course he can do it."
Okay, that's good.
Somebody else has to say the Hadron, but he can do it.
Yeah. Oh, right, because he's a bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he has a rabbi in Israel, which he couldn't get a hold of. Finally got a hold of him, and the guys told him the same thing, that he can do it.
Okay, good. All right. I like the
But I thought that was funny. Ask Svika.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh, hi.
tonight, tonight's learning should go for the Aliyas Neshama of my father. 58th yard site for Yaakov ben Yecheskel.
Yeshua Mesharon Aliyah.
Amen.
Shama Shiravan Aliyah.
58 years. Wow.
50.
And Harold's mother, right?
It was
Harold.
today. It's today.
Okay, you can still it's still today.
Yeah, Mishkat Bas Tzvi Halevi.
Miskish Bat Tzvi Levi.
35 years. Yeah.
Zvika Reisman's mother,
Oh,
Helene.
right. Helena Shendel Bas Tzvi, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also the Ari HaKadosh. Rav
Oh.
Yitzchak
Also,
Luria, the founder of Lurianic Kabbalah, was also yard site of Hayav.
Wow.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know, Svika's parents are buried 3 rows from my parents.
Oh, interesting.
You're in that,
Yeah.
it's a small cemetery in Tel Aviv.
Not so small, not so small. It's actually a large cemetery. It's a military cemetery on one side and a civilian on the other side.
I've
But
been there.
it goes very deep. It goes very deep. You don't see how deep it goes. Anyhow, so they're both in the same first section. And a couple of rows further, you have the Stechiner Rebbe, the Stechiner
Oh.
Rebbe or something.
In Tel
Yeah.
Aviv?
The famous Rebbe is not Tichin. His name is Stefanesh.
Stephanie, I'm sorry, Stephanish, right?
Stefanesh. He was from Romania.
Yeah.
He died like a few hundred years ago.
And he was whole.
and when they
apparently.
brought his body, it was completely intact.
Yeah.
So people go to his kever a lot,
And also the Sadegora Rebbe is in the same section.
especially the Chayalim go there.
But your parents are near there. Aren't your parents near the Sadigura there? John?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
so
telling you that
that's what he
Svika's,
said. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because-
Esti's grandparents are there too.
oh, good. Svika's parents are a couple of rows.
Right there, I've seen Tsiga's parents in the corner there. I saw your parents also because I went
Yeah.
there.
And then the people who were killed on the Altalina, Begin was trying to bring weapons in, and Yitzchak Rabin, they fired a cannon and the Altalina was sunk.
Right.
And they're buried, but they're not buried in one place. He gave a command that they should be spread out throughout the cemetery, because otherwise it would have been a shrine for the Chirutniks. Everything. It's a whole interesting story there.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we are on Membeis 42. On review to Maisa b'Shiv Chasu Shel Meitzik Echad B'Rimon, because we're talking about, can a suffix take something out from a vadai? So there was a kohen. No, there was a shivcha of a like a mafia guy who was Jewish, who lived in Rimon. She tila nefa labor, and they threw what they thought was a fetus who had died. Uba coined the hitzitz. A kohen had to check: is it a male? Is it a female? Leidaim nekeva or zachar nekeva, because if you give birth to a zachar, the mother is tummy for 7 days and then has 33 days of Yemei Tara. If she gives birth to a keva, she has 14 days of Tumah, followed by 66 days of Tara, and then she brings a korban. So the Kohen sort of peeked in, but he didn't see. And there was a chashash that maybe he was an oihel over the nave, the mace. So maybe there's a suffix that he's a Thomas mace. But they said no, he's Torah. Why? Shechulda ubardalis mitzurim sham. Weasels and hyenas were there, and it must be that they ate it up or dragged it away from there before the kohen looked. Now here, hacha vada hitila nefel. We know for sure that the shivcha threw the nefel in there, and it's only a suffix grew, suffix lo grew. Maybe the weasel moved it, maybe didn't move it. Yet the chacham said he's tor. Kaasi suffix umotz midei vadai. So the Gemara says, Lo tema hitila nefel labor, elema hitila kamin nefel labor. It wasn't for sure a nefel. It was something that might have looked like a nefel, but wasn't for sure. It's a suffix. So it's a double suffix. Freit the Gemara, how could you tell me it wasn't a nefel? V'haleda im zachem nekevu. Only a nefel is going to be male or female. So hachi kamer, leda im ruach hipila or im nefel hipila. Sometimes women would give birth to a miscarried, like a piece of skin with air in it. That's called ruach. It's not a vlad. Or if it's a nefel. V'im tim tzalom, and if you're going to say nefel itila, that it was a nefel, leidem zachem nakeva, you have the thing that maybe the animal dragged it away. And since we know that the hyenas and the weasels are present there, it's not a suffix that they dragged it away. For sure they dragged it away. Eisve. Motza tavnis yad or tavnis regel. We said that if a statue was broken and they found a hand or a foot, hare elu asurin, they are worshipped. Amai hashvorm, they're broken into pieces. Hatigrim Shmuel, we learned ba'oimdim al basis, and you found it still attached to its base, and therefore that wasn't broken. That can be worshipped that way. The goy has a power to be mevatel, to nullify an idol that he worshipped, or shel chavero. But Yisrael ain't mevatel avodah zara shel goy. A Jew does not have the power to be mevatel an avodah zara that a goy worshipped. Question is why? Amai. We asked this question between Rav Yochanan and Reish Lakish, that if you find an idol that has deteriorated, so there was a shaila between Rav Yochanan says it's still usher. Reish Lakish said it's not usher, because if it can't even protect itself, why would anybody dive into it? So why would it be any worse if a Yisrael nullified it than having it not be able to protect itself? Omra Abaya. Shepachsa. It wasn't broken, they just made it smaller. It became smaller, but it wasn't missing anything. If you make it smaller, even though it's not missing anything, it's nullified. But that's if the goy was mevatel zon avodah zara. Yisrael lo batla. But the question on Abaya is, why shouldn't the Jew be able to mevatel it? There's a svara about if the avodah zara can't protect itself, why is it any worse? So Rav Amar la'olam ki pachsa shel gam batla. Really make a din if a Jew nullifies an avodah zara, even of a goy, it make a din should be nullified. Ella. They made a gzeira dilma magvila. We're concerned that the Jew will lift it up, and then he's koine it. V'hadar mevatel. And v'havi avodah zara should be ad Yisrael. Then it becomes an avodah zara in the hands of a Jew. V'chol avodah should be ad Yisrael in about the law, and it can never be nullified. Eitzvei. Goy shehevi avodim in Amerkulas. Mercury was a avodah zara that was an avodah zara for the travelers, and the way it was worshipped was on the road. You would see piles of stones, usually one stone, and a third stone put on top. That was the way they worshipped Merkulis. Goy shevi avorim in Merkulis. V'chipa behen drachim v'tartois. He used those stones to pave roads or theaters. So the stones mutaros. Because the goy, by using it, shows that he wants it nullified. However, Yisrael shevi avorim in Merkulis v'chipa and drachim v'tartois asurin. Because this, now why? Amai. To have kavod zar shenishtaber meila, let it at least be no worse than an avodah zarah that deteriorated on its own. And Reish Lakish said it was mutter. Achnami karava, that's the gzeira again, that Yisrael can't do it, even though by itself, if it deteriorates, it's mutter. Esrei goy sheshipa avodah zarah letzorcho. He polished it. He has to use the equipment, otherwise it goes bad. So it's not for the Avodah Zara. And whether he, Ben Shipuya, the Avodah Zara, and the fixings of it, Mutarin. Because doing it was Mavatal Avodah Zara. Now, Letzorcha, but if he did it to make the idol beautiful, Asura. The idol is Asura, but Shipuya, that he doesn't want any more Mutarin. Now, if Israel does it, it doesn't make a difference for what purpose. It's Asur. Amai, Tevik Avodah Zara Shnishtaber, why shouldn't it be any worse than an Avodah Zara that broke on its own? Again, we answer, Achanami Karava, it's a Gzeira. Really, Me'ikra didn't, it would work, but the Gzeira, because maybe he might pick it up, acquire it, and then he can't be Mavatal, and Avodah Zara belongs to a Jew. Eisvei. Rabbi Yossi Omer. Shoichek v'zori l'ruach. He grinds the Avodah Zara and throws the dust in the wind. Or matil yam, throws it in the water. Amru lo afhina zevel. There's no, that doesn't help. It still becomes like dirt. You can't have any part of it. Now the question is, Amai, why should it be also to have a kavod zor shnishtaber meileh like Rish Lakish? Chonami kirava with the gzeira. Eis Rav Yossi ben Yasin Omer. Matzah tzur is darkon. A darkon is a dragon. These are the mythical beasts that were worshipped as avodah zarahs back then. Matzah tzur is darkon. The rosh chotuch, and its head is cut off. We don't know who cut it off. Sofik goy chotcho, sofik Yisrael chotcho mutter. If it's a sofik, fine. But vada Yisrael chotcho osir, because we learned already that a Jew cannot nullify the avodah zarah of a goy. However, why should it be amai to have it covered as let it be like it broke on its own? Achanami kirava, which is the gzeira, and achanami it would work, make her adin, but he made it gzeira. Eisvei. Rabbi Yossi Omer. Af lo yirakois. If you have an Asherah tree, people worship this tree, the Asherah tree, and you have vegetables that are growing under the Asherah tree. You shouldn't take them b'masak shamim. Mibnei shanavin asher salem. You have leaves that are falling down from the tree onto these vegetables, and it's nourishing them. So he's benefiting from the avodah zarah, so you can't take it. Now, am I to have he let the leaves that fall from the Asher tree be covered as Zorsh Nishtaber Me'eleh? Shani Hosam Sheikra Avodah Zara Kayamas, because the tree itself is still there. Ivashipuyin Ikra Avodah Zara Kayamas Uktani Litzorcha. We said for the benefit of the idol, yes, Asur, but for Shipuyin Mutar, but the things that you fixed are Mutar. Ravuna Bredi Vishul Amar. Another reason why what the leaves and things that fall from the Asher tree are also Lefishen Avodah Zara Batla Derech K'tilasa. Through normal growth, that's not how you nullify an Avodah Zara. It's the normal derech of a tree for leaves to fall. Now, Esvei Rish Lakish Rav Yochanan. Kan, a nest, B'rosh Ilan Shel Hegdish. You have a tree that's owned by the Beis Hamikdash, and there's a bird nest. So lo nanin, you're not allowed to have a noah from the nest, but lo mo'alin. But if you benefit, you don't bring a korban. Now, if the nest was Barosha Shel Asherah, was in an Asherah tree, Yatiz Bekane. You shouldn't climb up the tree or use the tree to get it. You have to use a stick. Otherwise, you're benefiting from the Avodah Zara. Kasal Kedaita comes out, first principle, Kigon Sheshavim Mimenu Eitzim V'Kinsa. Must be that the bird broke some branches from this tree, made a nest from it. Uktani Yatiz Bekana. Yet we say you're allowed to use the nest. So it sounds like pieces that are broken off from the Avodah Zarah, since it broke, you can use it. So Gemara says no raya. Hachmaiskinan can go on daisi alma. The bird brought twigs and branches from another tree. Vikinsabe. And dekanami, I'll prove it to you from the language. Diktani, Lagabi Hegdish, at the beginning, when he talked about the Hegdish, he says lo nanin v'lo malin. You couldn't make radin benefit from the nest, but if you did, you weren't chayv mila. I understand. If these branches are not from the Hegdish tree, why not? Lo nanin midrabanon. They made a gzeira because we don't want you to use the tree of Hegdish. But lo mo'alim midoraisa, because there's no mila, because they didn't use, the bird didn't use the branches from the tree. Dalokdishi. But if you're going to tell me that the bird had used branches from the Asherah tree itself to make the nest, why would there be no Mila Kadishi? It's definitely Kaddish. So the Gemara rejects this proof. Mida area. Hacha, because by the eights that was owned by the base of Midrash, you could say, he made the nest out of bigidul nabor lachami karaskina. Later growth, after he was magdashit, there's a question: are you chayv milaf or not? Because kasavar ein mo'alim bigidulin. He holds that anything that grows after your magdashit, there's no meila. Another way to explain our Mishnah: ma yatiz. What does it mean? You use a stick to take the nest? No, you don't take the nest. Yatiz befrochim, you get the chicks. But you can't use the nest. So there's no kasha. Amalei Rav Yaakov Rav Yemi bar Tachlifa. Asber I'll explain you the Mishnah. Befrochim kan v'kan. Could be the chicks, both by the tree owned by Hegdish and by Avodah Zara, are mutarin. But bebeitzim kan v'kan asurin. The Ephrochim are not needed for the tree. They're not part of the tree. So you can use the Ephrochim. But the Beitzin kan v'kan asurin. But the Beit, because they need the tree. And therefore the Chachamim were goizer because the tree itself was asur. On Ravashi, Ephrochim should strichilim and kabeitzim demo. And if the chicks need their mother still, they're considered like eggs, they'd be asur bano. Okay, Mishnah. Hamotze kelim baleim tzros chama. You find a kli, and there's a picture of the sun, or tzros levan, a picture of the moon, tzros darkon, or a dragon. So they're asur bano. V'yolichem yom melech. You have to throw them away. The chazak is that they were used for Avodah Zara. Roshan Gamliel loimer. Sha'alam muchubadim asurin. If it's a very nice kli, a Ming vase or something, yes, asur. But ala muvusim, but a kli that you use to make scrambled eggs with mutarin, it's not a kovadika kli. Lemreimen de lahanihu de leplichu lemidi akrin lo. So are you telling me that when you see a kli with the sun on it, that implies that the person worships only the sun? V'raminu. that it says Ashoichet Lishum Yomim. You shecht an animal Avodah Zara, and you say for the oceans. Lishum Naras for the rivers. Lishum Midbar for the desert. Lishum Chama for the sun. Lishum Levana for the moon. Lishum Kachavim Mazalis. Or Lishum Michael Asar Godel for the Malach Michael. Lishum Shilshul Cotton, a tiny worm. Hare Elu Zivche Mesim. That which you shechted is a Zevach Avodah Zara. And therefore, why do you say in the Mishnah it's only the sun and the moon? You see all these other things that can be worshipped. On Rabaya, Miflach Lekol, the Mishachi Palchi. Whatever they find, they worship. Meitzah Rafalchi, but to draw pictures. Hani Tlosa de Chashivi Tzar Lehu Palchulu. These things that were mentioned, Chama, Levana, dragon, those are choshev, and that everyone worships. And Lamidi Achrini, if you see other things on a kli, Lenoi Baal Mavdilu, it's just a design, not necessarily that it's going to be worshipped. Mankit Rav Sheshes Chumr Masnisa Vitani. Rav Sheshes learned the Chumr from this. Kol HaMazalois Mutorim. If you see a picture of the constellations, it's mutter. Chutz mimazal chama ulavar, except for the sun and the moon. Kol hapartzufin, faces, mutarim. Chutz mi partzuf adam, except for a human face. V'chol atzurois mutaros. Images of other things are permitted. Chut mitzuras darker, except for a dragon. Amar kol hamazos mutarim chutz mimazal chama ulavana. The constellations are mutter, except for the sun and the moon. Hachmaiskinon, what are we dealing with? Ilema be'oise. Are you allowed to make these things? You're not allowed to make something with pictures of the constellation. Vaksiv. Lo tasun iti. Lo tasun kidmushim shem sham shlefana b'morim. Don't make something that is one of the heavenly bodies that I use. El pshita b'motze, you find vessels that these pictures are on it. Ukiditna, like our Mishnah. Amotze kelev aleim tzurus chama tzurus levana tzurus darkon. Yolichem leyam melech. Those you have to get rid of. Now, iba motze, if that part is talking about you find aimim etziyasa. What else did the Mishnah say? It said kol partzufos. Faces are mutarim. Chutz mi partzuf adam.
Were you?
Emily's here.
Now, Iba Motze, if you're telling me you found it, partzuf adam mi osir. Who says that the human face is osir? Vatnan, hamotze kel malem tzurus chama tzurus v'an tzurus darkon yolich le'amelech. Only tzurus darkon in partzuf adam lo, but that implies a human face you wouldn't have to get rid of. El pshita sho'isa. We're not talking about you found these kelim. You make these kelim. Kravun and Brady Yeshua. So Iba says, so if you made it, aim is safe. We said kol atzuros mutors, you'd be allowed to make a kli with any other picture on it. Chutz mi tzuras dark, except for a dragon. Iba tzuras dark mi osir. But the Gemara is it osir to make a picture of the dragon? It's not. Vaksiv lo tasun iti lo kesav lezav, which is like the heavenly bodies in the heaven. Hani in tzuras darkon lo, which implies that making a picture of the dragon is not a problem. Okay, so this we'll have to deal with tomorrow. Tonight, Tsurba will be at 8 o'clock.
Okay, shkoyach, Ernie, it's the crazy stuff, this about the Zora stuff, it's like crazy stuff. Okay.
Have a good one.
Have a
Shalom,
good night.
have an idea, bye.
Amen.
Neshama Shalom.
It just says